And I'm really excited to speak tonight with my dear friend Jay Shetty, who has graciously accepted to be tonight on this IG Live with all of us. He's going to share his incredible journey. He was born in Great Britain. He's award-winning storyteller. He has been named in the Forbes 30 under 30. He's also creating content and online viral. He's sharing viral wisdom through his online videos, through his channels, through interviewing some incredible people. Jay, more than anything, is incredible person that I'm truly honored to know. I'm really interested when you came back to London, and when you started, as you said, you know, doing training with corporations and some companies and stuff like this. When did you know that? When did you connect with your purpose that you have today? When did you know that that's something that you definitely, you know, it resonated strongly, and you knew deep in your heart and in your mind that you're going to be where you are today?
That's a great question. Really, really great question. And I'd say that I started teaching and sharing when I was 18 years old. So straight after meeting the monk, when I came back from my first trip to India, I set up a society at university called Think Out Loud. And every single week, I would discuss a new theme or topic just like this. And I would dissect it from a psychological, spiritual, scientific, and human behavior level. And I would talk. And when we started, we had like 10 people coming every week. And when I finished university, we had like 100 people coming every week. And it was totally free. It was for students only. And it was just such a beautiful way to connect with people. And so when I started sharing again, and I started to feel like this is just what I was born to do and meant to do, and I really felt that in my heart, the day it happened was, I remember I sat down with one of my mentors, and he said to me, he said, Jay, do you only want to do this if one day, and he literally put it like this, he said, do you only want to do this if one day this is big and you're famous and you're known for it and it's huge, or do you want to do this even if you can just make ends meet and live off it and do it just for yourself? And I said to him, I'll do it even for that second reason. I said to him, even if this doesn't go anywhere and it doesn't get big and it doesn't become huge or whatever, I will happily do it just because I get happiness from doing it. And it seems to help a few people. And that was the moment I knew that this is what I wanted to do for the rest of my life, because I got so much joy from it. I got so much gratitude from it. And the people that were listening and were coming to the events, they were gaining so much from it, even if there were small groups of people. And then what happened is, when I took my first leap, and I think everyone can relate to this, this is how life is. You're either just about to take a leap and a risk, or you've just taken one. And that's the kind of where all our challenges in life are. Either you're just about to take a risk and you're scared about that, or you've just taken a risk and now you're scared that you just took it. And so for me, I remember when I was taking this risk of quitting my full-time corporate job to do what I do now, when I did that and I saw every time I took a leap closer to what was my passion and my purpose, the world helped me and the universe helped me. And if you want to call it God, God helped me. So what I saw was that there's a beautiful verse in the Vedas, and it says, when you protect your purpose protects you. And I love that verse because it's so true that our purpose is like this rare jewel that everyone will tell you that it's worthless. Everyone tell you it doesn't matter. Everyone tells you it doesn't count. Everyone tells you it's not good enough. And therefore you have to protect it. And when you protect it, the universe protects you. And I feel every time I take a leap towards my purpose, and I have taken big leaps in my life, my purpose comes back and protects me. And that's when I got the confidence that this is what I'm really meant to do, because I failed at a lot of stuff. But when I saw momentum here, I was like, this is interesting. I failed at so many things. This is actually going in the right direction. There's something here.
Do you feel that the purpose is something that will help people and encourage them to make that leap and make that risk? And if so, how do we as people find the purpose?
Yeah, really good. So the way I've been explaining it recently is that there's three aspects to purpose. There's interest, there's passion, and then there's purpose. Interest is like a baby. When the interest grows a little bit and it becomes a teenager, it's a passion. And then when it grows some more, it becomes an adult, it's a purpose. So the seed of purpose is interest. The seed of purpose is the baby of just having interest in something. So it's not that you were as good as you are at tennis. And I'm sure, well, Novak, I'm interested. Do you think you love tennis more now or when you were a baby?
That's amazing. By the way, it's an amazing analogy because it's so true. Because I can definitely identify my career and my journey with the analogy that you just presented. Because when I started dreaming about professional tennis, about winning Wimbledon, there was, the most recognized tennis tournament in the world in the history of our sport. When I was a teenager, when I started to feel that I'm becoming strong enough to compete with professionals, I don't want to say the only thing, but probably most of my thinking and most of my visualization was going towards me winning the trophy, me accomplishing my goals and my dreams. My dream was becoming the #1 player in the world and holding a Wimbledon trophy. And when I was 7, I was making this improvised, Wimbledon trophies from all these materials that I had in my room and looking myself in the mirror and saying, you're a Wimbledon champion one day. I was 7. So I do believe I'm a strong proponent and supporter of dreams and chasing your dream, and nothing, everything is possible. Nothing is impossible. And I felt it on my own skin. But going back to the interest as a baby of purpose, you're right, because for me it was about winning. So it was my self-interest. It was my interest to accomplish my own dreams and my own goals and my own visions. Of course, with my parents, they were there, the biggest supporters, and very limited amount of people around me when I was growing up. But then obviously I start to feel that's at the same time, it was always a passion and love, because I really enjoyed playing tennis, and for the sake of holding a racket in my hands and just being out there. I never had an issue of really hating tennis or, of course we all have days where we feel less of doing something that is our love and passion, but I felt that the passion or desire was always there and the flame was inside. But the purpose for me was strongly related to that interest, right?
Yeah.
And then going back to the beginning when you said, when you listen to the monk speak about service as being the biggest priority and the biggest satisfaction and the biggest purpose in the life, that's something that I start to feel only later, kind of midway through my career, where I start to feel, okay, well, yes, that's my purpose, but it kind of originates from the self-interest. But now my purpose all of a sudden is changing form. And now it's about service. And now I'm using the platform, of course, partly platform of playing tennis. I mean, still competing professionally, and because I see it as a platform where I'm able to grow, where I feel that with, all the suppressed programs, fears, emotions are surfacing like nowhere else in my life. So tennis court for me is in a way a battlefield and a classroom. And at the same time, I do feel that the tennis as a whole and as a platform allows me to share with people my passion, these kind of things, these kind of lives. And I try to always have in back of my mind the amount, especially of young people that are following me, that are watching tennis and watching every athlete, because athletes are so blessed to have, you know, millions, if not billions of people around the world following them, idolizing them. And so I see this as a great responsibility, if you know what I mean, because
yes, absolutely.
Purpose is a responsibility as well. If
yes.
if it's service, you
yes.
know, but it's even if it's interest, it's still a responsibility the way I see it, because it is responsibility towards yourself.
Yes.
But if the purpose originates from service, it's a responsibility towards yourself and towards others. And that's when you fully complete this cycle, and that's where you feel abundance inside.
Exactly. And that's why I respect you so much, because I know you called your book Serve to Win. And,
Yes,
and
exactly.
that, you know, that's beautiful. I love that on so many levels.
Yes.
And I think that that's such a great tennis analogy. But you know, and I've been on, thankfully I've been on the other side of your serves. And I know what they feel like. And I
By the way, for anybody that is watching now, please,
the video is coming.
Go back to the videos that we've done, Jay and I, and with Lewis in Los Angeles about 2.5 months ago. We played some tennis, and Jay has attempted to return my serves. It was very, very interesting.
It was very entertaining. It was we were showing how it's good to always be a student again. And Novak was guiding us. But it's true, like serve to win. And I think that this is what I've been saying a lot, and I repeat it often because it really helps crystallize it. Is like your passion makes you happy, but when you use your passion in the service of others, it becomes a purpose. So what you're doing is you play tennis, and you're a tennis player, and that's amazing. But now, because of the platform that you've gained through being the #1 tennis player in the world, you're using that to serve. And that's the whole goal that everyone can achieve. Whether you're a teacher, you're a doctor, you're a nurse, you're you're a football player, you make videos like me, whatever you do, all you have to do is, okay, now that I've done this, how can I use what I have to help other people? And you will feel so much more happiness and joy from that, no matter how big or small or successful or whatever you see yourself as. When you start giving away what you have in the form of time, ideas, resources, money, energy. Remember, it's energy. Like time and money, it's all energy. That's what you're really giving. And when you give your energy to someone, and especially your actual time, and you want to see the work change, you will feel so much more joy from that. I really believe that. I used to take a lot of people, and Novak, I know we've talked about this. Before I started making videos, I used to take a lot of retreats to India where people could live where I lived as a monk. So I would take these retreats to the ashram. And I remember taking a man, and he then took his children afterwards. He was a successful businessman in London. He took his children afterwards. They were about 13, 14 years old. And he said that it was the best trip ever for them because they were blown away by how grateful kids in India were with much less than they had in London. And he said that the perspective that they gained from serving these kids who are just grateful to have a bowl of food, like just to have hot food for these kids was like their birthday party. And when his kids saw that, they gained so much. And I really feel that the challenge here we have, the challenge that so many people have is mental health. And that scientifically has been shown to be eased and healed when we help other people and when we serve other people as well. Not that it's the #1 cure or anything. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying it is a method that can be very helpful when we're feeling pain, to help others and to serve others, because it puts our challenges into perspective and it gives us so much more of a greater world view.
That's beautiful. And thank you for graciously mentioning my book. And you just recently published your book, Think Like a Monk, right?
It's not out yet, but it's coming out.
Isn't it? Oh, I thought
so we had to. No, it's fine. It's not your fault. We had to delay it. No, it's cool.
Because we were going back and forth, and you were talking. Yeah, so I thought.
So Novak kindly wrote a beautiful testimonial for my upcoming book, but we delayed the launch of the book to September because we weren't sure it would get to people right now.
Okay.
So the book comes out September 8th. And of course, I'd love to share it with you before it comes out. But yeah, no, so that's, and the book is called Think Like, sorry. Yeah, let's go back to it.
Wonderful. And in that book, because you've done 2 times 20-day meditation lives on Instagram, which is amazing. I was several times on those lives, and I've been part of the meditations, and you've actually spoken during these lives about your book and the content of the book, and that you're sharing the techniques and various meditations in that book, which are specifically helping in certain kind of situations, circumstances, states of mind, and emotional states. Can you maybe share with people something about those meditations that you've shared in the book?
Yeah, absolutely. So the book's called Think Like a Monk. And the reason why it's called Think Like a Monk is because I don't think anyone needs to live like one to think like one. And I really believe that Novak thinks like a monk in some parts of his life. I think a lot of people I interview on my podcast already think like monks, because the monk mindset has 3 key aspects to it. The first is monks always focus on the root of the issue. They always go to the core. They always go to the root. They don't worry about all the branches and the leaves. The second things that monks do is that everything is very intentional. Everything is very intentional. It's focused. It's not just by chance or by luck or by hope it happens. It's not hopeful. It's not lucky. It's not chance-based. It's intentional. And people are very focused on their actions. And, you know this. You have an intentional diet. You have an intentional workout plan. And, of course, there's room for spontaneity. Of course, there's tons of room for creativity and spontaneity. But the real leaders know that routine gives birth to real spontaneity, right? It starts with discipline. And then the third and final part of thinking like a monk is being able, I think we need a world that is more compassionate, more empathetic, more mindful.